So I have a question.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of things going on. I got accepted to speak at two conferences coming up in November, one in New Orleans and one in Boston. Um, one is the Black Student Lead, and the other is NSLD, that's National Student Leadership Diversity. So that's cool. I'm excited about that. I just got the email yesterday. Now the question that I have is more concerning proposal and structure of pricing, because I'm talking to a school in Queens, and they want me to come to do a bunch of mini workshops. So the pricing for that is straightforward, but they also want me to come and do like a town hall, which is like a whole day. So I think the structure will be like, I'll be talking to a bunch of different students throughout the whole school day, right? And so they asked me, okay, what is your price, your fee for like a 1 hour workshop? Because they want me to do stuff with the students, with the parents, and then to do the town hall and to do something specifically with young men there. So my question to you is, just in your experience, ballpark, that whole day pricing, how does that compare relative to the 1 hour pricing? Because I'm thinking I'm not going to say 1 hour times 8, right? Or I could do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
No. So let's say for frame of reference, right? You would do like 25 for easy math. Like let's say you did like 2,500 for an hour, right? So if you
Right.
did 2 hours, you'd want to give a little bit of a price break. So like 2 hours would be like 4,500, right? And then once you start pushing into like 4 hours and then full day, you want to basically make it a little bit more, but basically it feels like they're taking advantage of you, right? So that might look like 5,500 for 4 hours and 7,000 for the full day, right? So if you did 2,500 times 8, that would be like whatever that math is, 5, 10, 15, like 15,000.
16, 8, yeah.
Yeah, like 15, whatever that number is, like 15, 16.
Like 16, 15, yeah. 16, 5, I think.
Yeah, you're the engineer, not me. I'm gonna trust
It's on 216, right? Plus 500. Yeah, about around that ballpark. We get it.
Yeah. So anyway, so it would be like normally 16, but they can get it for like 7,500 or something like that. So it feels like, that, it's a multiple of your keynote. So the way I always think about it is like 1 hour is this, 2 hours is like a little bit less than, so if it's like 5,000 for an hour, it'd be like 8,500 for 2 hours, right? So it's less but significant, right? And then if I multiply that out over a day, I might just, scale it up. Now, this is what's interesting that I think you should know. So I don't have my finger on the pulse of colleges the way like I once did. However, I was having a conversation with someone who runs a speakers bureau specifically for colleges, and I was talking to him, and I said, "What's the range that colleges are comfortable paying nowadays?" And he said he's booking his speakers between $4,000 and $10,000. So he was saying post pandemic, it's harder for them to get speakers in, so they have to pay more to get speakers in, right? So that was surprising because I normally hadn't seen colleges getting up that high. So previously, again, I guess this was probably pre-inflation, right? Like that 25 to 3,500 was kind of like that entry point where he's like, no, I'm seeing 4,000. Again, once you hit 10,000, you're probably looking at multiple signatures and it's a lot more rigmarole. But anything in that range, he said, is all day, every day.
Okay, so for context, with college, that's good because this is for high school. And for the full day, I was thinking around, 75 to 8,500. I was actually going to text you, and then I go to Facebook because I haven't been on social media, and I see this. That's excellent. So that's kind of within the ballpark I was thinking, because I didn't want to. exactly like you explained, to times it out, like my hour rate by 8, that would just be ridiculous. So, but like you said, you want the discount to be significant where it feels like they're taking advantage of you, but it's also mutually beneficial, you know?
Yeah,
So,
that's right. And typically too, it also depends on like the energy that you have to do it. So what I mean by energy is, for example, is um you can do like, for example, 5,000 for a keynote and 7,500 for a full day, as an
right.
example, right? So energistically, if you're like, yeah, I like that's energistically fine for me,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, well, for just $2,500 more, we could get him to do so much more for us. So you're kind of, and again, this is the like, and again, there's no right way to do it. But for some people, they go, well, I'm going to be there all day anyway, like mentally and emotionally. If I've already been like,
Right.
you've got me for the day. So if I can add another 2,500 in profit, because that's what that would be, that 2,500 would be profit, then I would like to do that. And then it kind of leans people towards it, where you go, I was doing that for a period of time, and I kind of stopped doing it because energistically, it started becoming a lot like people were like, all right, you're going to speak to like, you're going to do an assembly in the morning, a
Right.
workshop right after it, then you're going to do a PD, then you're going to do a parent presentation, and then you're going to do a leadership, and then you're going to do a Q&A. And at first I was like, hell yeah, let's go. Like, cause like that's how we always
Right.
are. Like, yeah, let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
This is the greatest thing in the whole world. But then like when it started happening a much, I was like, I'm kind of like done with it, so you might want to do like keynote 5,000, half day 7,500, and that would
right.
be fine, right? Because
Okay.
it's like, well, just for a little bit more we could get a additional 3 hours, and with that 3 hours he could do something for the staff, he could do a mentoring session, he could do a leadership workshop. So that's kind of like an easy number, like go 50% of whatever your keynote fee is and turn that into the half day, and then
Right.
for the full day maybe add um, you know 75% to your keynote fee. So if you're charging like 5,000, it'll be like, I don't know what the math is on that, like 85, 7,500, 8,500 for the full day. So it's
Right.
less than two keynotes. Basically less than two keynotes gets you the full day. That's like kind of conceptually. Yeah, I wouldn't do that number. Oh, okay, that's probably a better number. I would do 8,759. They'd be like, why?
Well,
Why?
it's 8750, right? So
Yeah,
probably,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but like, the 7,500, the 5,000, 7,500. I tend to find that, at least with my experience, the like if you're gonna go 6,000, you might as well go 7,500.
Right.
Like, going from 5 to 6 isn't really. You might as well go to 7,500. For 7,500, going to 8,500 is, you know,
Right.
that's the next step.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Thank you. This is very helpful.
Yeah,
Very
for sure.
helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess when the time gets close, I could ask now, but when the time gets close, I'll reach out to, because this the conference in November, actually November 8th and November 18th. So one is in New Orleans, one is in Boston.
Mhm.
Just to get like just insights on how to make, because I know you're like a ninja, and I've heard you talk about when you go to conferences how you make it very effective, like some of the best practices and things that you've learned over the years that that I can implement to make it a fruitful trip. I
Is
love
the
that.
is the conference? Are you doing a workshop or a keynote? Do you know?
So I think right now it's a workshop.
Yeah. So it's either workshop or keynote, right? If
Right,
you're
it's
doing
workshop.
keynote, it's easy because everyone's in
Right,
a plenary session. You don't have to do. It's not as like much of a thing. If I'm doing a workshop, my goal is to fill the workshop with people. The way that I fill the workshop with people is literally, again, this is what I do. I don't know if it's like the most efficient way. It's just what works for me. Is literally I walk up to people and I go, "Hey, is this your first time at the conference, or have you been here before?" And they're either going to say it's their first time or they've returned. If it's their first time, I go, "What made you come to the conference? Like, why did you come?" If it's like their second, third, fourth, or fifth time, like they've come back to it, I go, "Oh, why do you come back to this event, right? Now, whatever their answer is, as long as it fits, the answer to why they came in the first place or why they came back is in my session, right? If it fits. So for example, if you're, doing like on, like engineering your success, right? Like if you're doing a keynote on that, why do you come here? Oh, I come here because I want to learn the best strategies. Oh, that's amazing. Like, what are you doing Tuesday at 2 p.m.? Like open up your like program book. What are you doing Tuesday at 2? Oh, listen, I'm doing a session on engineering your success or whatever this session might be. Like it's gonna help you find the strategies that work, right? So whatever their answer is, as long as I can tie what I'm doing to their answer, I'll go, oh,
Right.
like, and then I'll go, can you make it? And then I ask them, can you make it? And then they'll usually go, yeah, like I, because they don't really know where they're going, and if they met you,
Right.
they'd rather go to your session than not go to your session. And then I just kind of do that as much as humanly possible to stack the room. Um, and then and what I've done in the past, I haven't done this in a little bit, but what I have done in the past is given something away as a incentive. Like, hey, we're going to give away a pair of ear pods or
Right.
an AirPod. I actually don't even know what kids would like nowadays. Like I used to give away iPod Mini because it was the cheapest thing with the highest amount of value. Like it'd be like $200-300 to buy like a base level iPad. I don't even know if they make iPad Minis anymore, to be honest with you. Maybe they. I don't like. This is how disconnected I am from iPad culture, right? But like the iPad Mini was the cheapest, highest value thing to be like, hey, if you come to my session, we're going to give away, an iPad Mini. I don't know if you need to do that. To be honest with you, you may not, because the more I think about it, the more I think like that maybe was my insecurity that I need to give something away, and like in reality, um, they could have just
In,
wish up. Yes, but
insect,
anyway,
give good headphones.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
but something I think, yeah, just an exchange of value appreciation, and it kind of creates excitement too. I think, right? Because you're gonna kind of like raffle it all about something.
yeah, so like
Uh,
I would say like, hey, give me feedback on Talkadot, and then randomly choose a name and just be like,
right.
and you've won a pair of wireless
Beats.
headphones, whatever. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know if Beats are still cool. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe
Wow.
they. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like. I
but
don't know what's cool now. Like, it's such a like
I
before
know,
it was
bro.
like
It's
Beats by Beats
everything
by
moves so
Dre.
fast.
Yeah, that was cool. Now I'm like, I don't even know if kids know what Beats headphones are. Like I have a pair of Beats by Dre, but I don't know if well Beats by Apple. They're not by Dre anymore. So anyway, you could or couldn't. It really is up to you. But what I think you can do is that strategy. The principle of it is still
Right.
it works, right? Because you build a connection with people, you talk to them, you invite them, and then you stuff the room. And then ideally, when the room is stuffed, someone or you takes a picture, because it's a very valuable asset to share to the event planning host. So you'll share
Right.
with them your Talkadot data of what they thought. And like, look, the feedback was amazing and the room was stuffed. Like, that's a good
Yeah.
thing, right? Like we should do a keynote next time. So if I ever have the workshop, that's how like my whole goal with the workshop is to try to get business from the workshop and move myself to the main stage next year. Like
Right.
those are my two objectives.
No, awesome. And I remember you sharing once even that you would tell the attendees in the workshop, one of the best thing. Now we have talked with that, but even with that, to say when you see the event planner, go and tell her how, or go and tell him or her how great this session was. So kind of like that person will be inundated with people coming and say, "Oh, our session was great. Our session was great," and then it keeps you top of mind as well. So when you now go and share the talk of that data or something else, it's like, "Oh, okay. Not only are you sharing this objective, but we literally had like real people come up and say stuff too." So
Yeah,
I think
that
that's
still works.
valuable.
No, the 100% still works. So basically, here's the things that I do at a conference that I don't think other people do. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know, but like this is what I do. I meet the event planning staff, and I like whoever is like behind the desk or whatever. I meet them. If they have a central office after the event, I'll send them like a gift basket of some sort. Like, you did a lot of work. I just want to acknowledge you because a lot of people don't see it. Great job. So there's no ask, there's no anything. It's just like, here is a like, you know, $40 gift basket of some sort. And ideally it's being sent to the central office, right? So that like that happens because I don't think other speakers do that. So they receive like a level of gratitude and appreciation, which again is relationship building, right? At the event, I walk up to people, same question every single time. First time here, or have you been here before? First time, why'd you come? What do you hope to get out of it? Oh, you came back. Why do you keep coming back? Oh, well, you know, what are you doing during my presentation time? I've lost Fred. I'm going to keep talking and then he'll watch the recording. Um, what are you doing Tuesday, whenever my presentation is? Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Well, I'm going to be doing a session. It's going to show you this and this, which I think ties into what you want to learn. You know, do you think you can make it? Great. If they say no, I go, do you think you can send one of your friends? Because I'd love for this to like come back to your you know, group, right? So then I just do that all day, every day. And then when my workshop starts, I'm standing outside of my workshop room. I'm not inside the workshop room, if that makes sense. The reason why is when people are walking by, I want them to see me and be like, oh, that was the guy who spoke to me. Because, you know, maybe they said yes, but they've already forgotten that they said yes. But if they see me and they're trying to decide, because typically when people are choosing plenary workshop sessions, excuse me, they're deciding which one do I want to go to, right? So if I'm standing outside and they see me, they go, oh, I'm going to go into there and I'll give them a high five and be like, oh, thanks for coming. If I remember their face, like, oh, thanks so much. And then, you know, sit in the front, cool kids sit in the front. I always say something like that because I want to stack them into the front. And then when it's time to start, I just, you know, deliver a good presentation, use Talkadot, capture the data and the leads. I would still recommend saying, like, I probably don't do this now because of Talkadot, but I think it is a good idea. I used to say, go to the event planner, and if you appreciated this, just please tell them you appreciate it. And maybe 2 people would do it, but that's 2 people who did it and like nobody else would, right? Like nobody else did. And then I share the Talkadot report with the host and, you know, say like, hey, I'd love to, you know, consider this next year on the main stage. Like it clearly, like, here's a picture of like my room stuffed with people. Here's my data saying that it was well received. Like this, you know, might be something we want to consider doing on the main stage if applicable, and then, you know, build a relationship like that. So that's literally it. And then, you know, the other thing, which is probably like knowledgeable, is like, be there as early as you can, leave there as late as you can. You know, FaceTime is valuable. Yeah. But I'm going to jump to you, Adam, because Fred is going to have to watch this on the recording. So hopefully, Fred, if you're watching this on the recording, it was helpful for you. It was helpful.
Actually, great advice. Quick follow-up on what you shared. Do you send a gift to the staff and to the event planner? Are you sending 2 different gifts, or you're sending 1 gift?
So ideally, there's like, it's a little bit different post-COVID, because post-COVID, there was like an office that everyone worked in. Now there's a lot of virtual employees that are everywhere. So whoever my main point of contact is, that's who it's addressed to. But I tell them to share it with the team. So sometimes, again, like it might go to an office and it's just that one person who gets it. There might be 12 other people who've helped plan it, but like I'm not sending 12 gift baskets.
So, but like, for example, I gave a talk and I sent a gift to the event planner, but there were like other kind of back office people involved. What do you do there?
Yeah, no, so I don't know if this lighting actually helps, makes it worse. We'll find out. Was that better or worse with the lighting?
Dude, you look good. Don't
either way, it's the same. All right, I was like,
what does it matter? What do you care? You're with us.
The clouds have come over the sun, and I'm outside, and the clouds have made it darker.
Dude, so you're good. You're good. You're good.
Arel, you shine no matter what the environment.
My heart goes pitter patter with both of you. No, so I only choose my point of contact. Whoever, like, okay. You know, typically there's one person that is your main point of contact, even if it's minimal. But like there might be like 50 people that plan. It's just I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Cool. So I have some other questions, and I don't know if I don't want to cut my main man Fred. But
jump in.
No, that's good, Adam. I'm just gonna catch the recording on my phone.
I spoke to the I spoke to you in the recording, and
Thank you.
basically
Yeah.
said, just do these things and you'll be good to go. But the very, very quick thing, just in case you don't watch the recording, Fred, is, um, yeah, I got you, Ann. So when you go, talk to people. The question is, first time here, have you been here before? Oh, what you're looking for is at my workshop, join my workshop. When the workshop happens, I stand outside the room so that when people are walking by deciding which workshop they're going to go into, they might see my face and go, oh yeah, that was the guy. They sit in the front room. I encourage them to sit in the front row. I take a picture if my room is stacked, and then I get my Talkadot data. I share that Talkadot data and the picture of the room being stacked with the host and say, hey, maybe we should move this to the main stage next year. It was like really well received. And then I send a gift basket to the main host. So that's kind of like, and then show up early, leave late. FaceTime is important. As much FaceTime as you can. So that's it.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, sir.
What's up, Adam?
Okay, a few quick questions for you. Quick question number one. I was catching up with my academic advisor from college from like way back in the day. And he told me, he's like, look, I'm really well connected across colleges. If you give me a list of all the colleges that book speakers, I can reach out to my contacts. Because I was explaining to him, like, hey, USC doesn't pay speakers. UCLA doesn't pay speakers. Harvard doesn't pay speakers. But like Sacramento State probably does. But he's like, look, I don't want probably does. I want a list. Like, you give me a list of like, these are the 500 schools that like actually book, where like, you know, concretely that speakers have been booked there. And like, I'll go through my Rolodex. So I don't want to like just give him a list of like the US news schools that aren't in the top 50. I want to like know at the same time, like,
He's
I
in
don't,
California, right?
but he's like was on the board of the National Academic Advisor Association. So like, I don't want to like, you know, I just wanted to ask you like, hey, what's the easiest way to do this?
So there is no easy way to say, here's a list of all the colleges that book speakers in America. But what you can do is say any community college in California. Any community college in California will book a speaker. I've worked, there's a link right there to those folks. And again, like there's networks of like, so let me see if I can find one. Hold on one second. Let me see if they have a membership directory. Schools, become a school member. The second easiest way, I don't even know if they'll give this out, but if school member, hold on, list of college members. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I would, if I were in your shoes, I would, I don't know if this list is public or if they would make it public, but like if they are a APCA member or NACA member, right? Then they 100% book colleges. Excuse me, they're a college that books speakers, right? So let me see if they, and again, they may or may not make this information public. And again, you may not be looking for emails, so there might be a way to scrape it somehow, or there might be a link somewhere of like, these are the colleges. Like I don't have that. Like you'd have to look for it a little bit on their website or do like some Googling of like, you know, list of NACA colleges or list of, oh, you know what? Hold on. I might have something that might, hold on. Let me look. I might actually have something interesting. Is there a co-op buying? Co-op. Oh, here we go. This might actually, so this is not going to be great, but it's going to be way better. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm gonna share this. So this link is not gonna be pretty in the chat. So when you're at an APCA conference, they give you a list of their co-op buying. Like these are all the colleges that have booked a speaker at an APCA conference. They don't give you like the contact information or who the people are, if that makes sense. And there's a lot of like repeated, like, so every time you see the name repeated, that means that that's how many times that particular institution booked someone. So if you're looking at like, you know, the top one there, Culinary Institute of America. So they booked like 28 acts at that APCA event, right? So you could say like I'd like to get in touch with someone at these institutions. Like those are members of APCA. They were at an APCA conference. They booked things. It doesn't have anyone's contact information. It doesn't have anyone's titles. It's just that they booked. So that's a good starting point. You can look online to see if APCA or NACA has a list of their members. Those people are like the best if you can find, if there's some list somewhere. If you could find anything on the internet of, if it exists, of what's the word I'm looking for? Like an event guide, like not event guide. I go to a conference and you give me like a agenda. I can't think of the word, like a PDF or I can go grab one. I was just down, like if I'm at an event, they're like, here's what's happening at our event. Here's who the speakers are.
Agenda.
Like the agenda. It's not the word though. It's like conference guide, the conference guide, right? So you get a conference guide on an event. So they may list the like colleges that are there on their conference guide. I don't know if they do that, but they may. I feel like I have a vision of that. So that's what I would do to find APCA and NACA people, because they 100% book. And then anyone in the community college California network, the ccco.edu, they all book speakers as well. But like that's what it's not like easy like, oh yeah, here it is, but that's what I would do to achieve that.
Okay.
That goal.
Okay, thank you. I have a keynote next week, and they're asking me to do a workshop the next day. And my question to you is, when you give a keynote on one day and you give a workshop the next day to the same group, how do you incorporate Talkadot during that second workshop?
I do it the exact same way. There's no difference.
But do you do a different giveaway? Like, what are you?
Yeah, ideally, you should have two. Yes. So, great question. So, as a distinction, so like I'm doing that this week. I'm doing a keynote on Thursday, and then a workshop on Friday for the conference that I'm going to. And I'm going to give something different away in each one. So there's still a value add for them to give me their feedback. But the workshop is just an expansion of what happens in the keynote. It's more hands-on. That's all.
Where in the workshop do you typically provide the link?
At the end.
At the end. Okay. Okay. And then any thoughts on just sort of things to provide in a workshop that would incentivize people to do it?
Mm-hmm. So typically, like the easiest thing is if you're doing any type of work, right? Like, hey, we're gonna I want you to, as an example, make a list of the 5 people that have most impacted you. What are the qualities of all 5 of those people? So like you might give someone an exercise, turn that into like like go to Canva and just turn it in, or Fiverr if you have time, and turn that into a worksheet, right? It's like, hey, I'll give you a worksheet so that you can work through this. A summary of what you're talking about, right? Works really well. So like, hey, if you want a summary of what we're talking about, I'll give that to you at the end, or your slide deck. So your slide deck, your summary, or a worksheet. That, or like in Europe, again, I don't know if, because I didn't ask you what you're speaking on, but like, let's say you're doing something on mentorship, you might say like, here are the
So for my main talk, for my keynote, my gift for Talkadot is best tips on the topic of mentorship. So I give that away for the keynote.
Yep.
For the workshop, it's going to be on how to discover, develop, and deploy your superpower, and how to help the people who you're leading discover, develop, and deploy their superpowers.
So if I attended your session, right, where I want to discover and, you know, deploy my superpower, what would you actually want people to do after your session? Like, what would you actually want them to do? So you're going to do that work with them, right? But when
Correct.
they leave, you're like, yo, actually do this. What would that be?
Well, I think it's going to depend on each person. They're ultimately going to sort of create a guide for themselves on, these are the steps I'm going to take to. It's really creating a roadmap for themselves on, okay, what are the steps that I need to take to discover, develop, and deploy my own superpower? What are the steps that I need to take to help those around me do it? And then workshopping it a little bit amongst ourselves, because it's an hour. So
Yeah, that's right. So, okay, so I sat down and I go, okay, here's where, you know, my biggest current problems are. So like that could be like that roadmap could be the worksheet, right? So for example, I'm making this up, right?
yeah,
Like, what are your current biggest challenges? Circle your current biggest challenge. Who do you think could help solve that problem? So you're just asking questions and they're filling it in. You could work them through that in the presentation, and they're writing it on their own piece of paper, but then you could give that to them so that they could do this same process with their employees, right? Is that kind of like what I'm interpreting?
yeah. My only question is, wouldn't it be more valuable, just in terms of the overall presentation, to give them this worksheet on the front end of the presentation? Like if you have a worksheet for them, which I have,
Are you
like
going to print it out or digitally?
I'm deliberating what to do, but I'm thinking that, like, I have a worksheet, so I'm thinking I'm probably better off just like giving it to them on the front end and saying, "Here's the worksheet."
So it would
But I don't
depend
know.
on,
I'm on the fence. I'm not.
yeah, I
I
mean,
haven't given a ton of thought to this.
I'm 100% on the fence about printing out materials. Like I do
Okay.
sometimes. The only reason I'm on the fence about it is because like, do you print out 50? Do you print out 100? You know, do you print it in color? Like, do you spend 79 cents per copy to print it out? Do you print it out in black and white? Like, so there's all those things that come up. And like
Yeah.
typically I always lean towards, I'll give it to my host and let them print it out and then they decide how much they want to spend, but they
Yeah.
may not in a conference like do it for you. So I would lean towards black and white. I would lean towards, like, you know, printing, like if you have a nice home computer, and then give them the physical and then say, hey, would you like a PDF version of this so that you can use
It
this?
sounds like, you know what, it's on the East Coast. I'm in LA. It sounds like it's probably easiest to just not do that and use that as the giveaway. And
I would just ask
yeah.
them the questions and have them write it down and then go, if you want this structured as a PDF that you can use for your team and for yourself, I'm going to give that to you. So just tell them
Yeah.
what to do. And that's what I almost always do. I just tell people, write this down in a notebook because it's just easier. But then you give away the PDF and then you don't have to print anything. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's a good tip. My last question is a quick one. I posted this in the group and I got a couple of responses, but I thought maybe you might have something just in terms of up leveling my video. Do you have anyone or any tips on what to do? Basically, I was referred to someone, but it sounds like it would require like a whole new video. I kind of want to take my current video and just tweak it. just thoughts on video and what you've done in the past, and maybe how to find a good resource.
Yeah, so I just put in an email. There's a guy that he's gonna be doing my new demo video. That's his
Okay.
email. His website Transcode TV. He just does speaker demo videos. He's for sure expensive, like more
Okay.
expensive than anything I've ever spent for a video. Typically, what I do is I ideally have my host do videos, and then editors are very much hit and miss. The guy who was my editor doesn't do editing anymore because he wants to move out of it. So I don't have. Unfortunately, he was very, very good, which I hated the fact that like no, someone could be good at something but they don't love it. And then there's this other woman who she's based in so she recorded a video for me and she does editing as well. Her name is Lou. She's very good. She has like really high quality stuff. If you ever wanted to do your own thing, she gave me the camera that she uses, which is right here. So if you, again, this is if you want to buy your own, like I did this at one point, like I bought my own camera and own microphone, and I used it not nearly as much as I should have because I'm not a videographer. I thought if I had the equipment, I would magically somehow use it, and I didn't. I assume, and I don't know, because I've seen a lot of chatter about like these AI tools that are just changing video. Like there's like AI tools that will take one, like a keynote, and then it'll cut it up into like 15 social media posts for you and put the titles and all that stuff for you. I've yet to be convinced that I can just upload the video and it spits out something perfect. I think it spits out like maybe like 80% there. So I think there's probably some opportunity on the AI side, where if you put in like AI video editors, like here's my current video, like I would Google AI video editors and see if there's a way for you to upload your current video and see if it can create transitions and slides and stuff. I haven't done that research myself, so I can't recommend anything. But those are the two people. Lou, she's based in Washington State. She's done some video recording and she does editing as well. And then James at Transcode. So Lou recorded one whole keynote for me. And the video was very good. And then James, he's gonna edit everything and make it like a bunch of stuff. And so yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anne, I know you said you had one more question, and we're coming to the last 5 minutes. Let's if it's okay, Adam, I'm gonna jump to Anne, answer her question, and then I got a 1 o'clock p.m., 10 o'clock Pacific. I think you're, yeah, okay. I gotta do the math in my head sometimes. Go ahead, Anne.
Cool. So have you worked with Trio programs at all? Because I was able, thanks to the government, I was able to find an Excel spreadsheet of every single school who got a Trio grant in 2022, and it's like over 1,000 schools.
Yeah.
But my thought was that's great because they have money to bring in speakers potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So my plan was to reach out to a bunch of different people in New York who, worked with Trio at different colleges. But I was curious if you had any advice for working with Trio. I have spoken at one Trio program before down in Florida.
Yeah, so I put a link there.
Cool.
In the chat, and then there's a user named Raquel Bartoli. She goes by Rocky. Do you know Rocky?
Let me
if
Google.
not, she does a ton of Trio speaking. Like she's all up in the Trio world. She's like highly. Let me see if I can find. I can do it. She's super nice. She would be happy to talk to you about it.
That'd be great. I do not know her. I just Googled her.
Yeah, that's her Facebook page. So happy to introduce you to her. I'll do like probably a Facebook intro if that works, and say Rocky meet Anne and meet Rocky. And
I don't use the Facebook.
Oh, you're on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is great. LinkedIn is great.
I'll connect on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Thank you.
Let me make sure I'm connected to her on LinkedIn. Hold on, Raquel. Yeah, I'm connected to her on LinkedIn. Oh, and you actually are friends with her on LinkedIn, so that's good.
Am I? Hold on.
I think so. Yeah.
Hold on. I keep track of everyone on LinkedIn through messages, so let me find out how I know her.
Yeah. Well, it shows we have mutual. Yeah.
We connected because we were both in a Talkadot training. I
Yeah.
connected with her, but I don't know her personally.
Yeah. I'm gonna just send a message right now. Anne is interested in Trio. Ooh, Trio, and thought you could give her the.
Oh, and Adam, I popped some stuff in the chat just in case it's helpful. I've been really pleased with the research librarians at the New York Public Library. You don't need a New York library card to book a 30-minute appointment with them. Like if you're doing research on an industry or even speaking stuff. And I have one booked on Friday. But I thought that might be an interesting area to take a look if you're looking for like colleges who pay speakers.
Do you need to be based in New York?
Nope, you don't need a New York library card to book a 30-minute Zoom call, and you can book as many as you want.
Interesting. Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
that's cool. So I just did the intro to Rocky. She's all up in
Thank
that
you.
space. I've spoken in Trio many years in the past, so I have the general gist of it, but she can give you a lot more of the like boots on the ground, you know, and she does scholarship based stuff. So you can ask her if they do stuff on like career. And I think that would be, I mean, they have funding, they have to spend it. I put a link in the chat to the Trio from the Department of Ed, if you saw that. So that has all their award information and how much money they have and all that fun stuff as well.
Perfect. Thank you. That's so helpful.
Cool. Yeah. All right. I got to jump to my meeting here. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.